Juice Guru Radio. Discover what the magic and power of juicing can do for you. And now, your host, best-selling author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Juice Fasting, Steve Prussack.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve Prussack. It's great to be with you. On today's show, we've got Kevin Montague. He's going to share with you the master key, how to really transform your health with cutting-edge information he's going to bring and unveil to us on this show, how we can overcome really any disease. We're going to find out more about that in just a minute. So sit back, relax, have a juice, have some tea, have some water. We'll be back right after this with Kevin Montague.
Juice Guru Radio.
My doctors finally gave up on me and told me to go home and die, is where that finally went. That was quite a moment in my life, too, because as you mentioned, I've had two full death encounters in my life. I don't care whether anyone believes me or not. I had the experience, so I have the strength that comes from having had the experience. When I left my primary care physician's office, that went into the car and bowed my head in prayer and said, "What's going on?" Because I had gotten sent back from the first death encounter and wanted to know why in the world I was going through this. And oddly enough, Steve, this has led to something incredibly good. It put me through hell with my body to learn all that I did to save my life, but it caused me to use my background in the arts and sciences to really do a number on our holistic sciences and bring them all together into knowledge that has been long overdue in our system. And just one more little pointer, I think all of this that's in my book would have come into fruition a lot sooner if all the focus had not been on drugs and surgery in our system, because we have a lot of really good science, healthcare science, among all the different arts and sciences, health sciences, that really do work if you know what you're doing. And what's been lacking is the if you know what you're doing part in all of this. And the purpose of the Master's Key has been to bring all of this together into the light of true understanding and absolute law and knowledge, so people can really use what's out there and get themselves well.
Juice Guru Radio.
Diseases have various stages depending, if you're diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer as opposed to stage 1. Does it matter what stage you're in as far as this method for reversing?
No, although I would say there is a point of no return where the cells finally completely are transforming into their microplant life forms. And when you get to that point, then even the things I know aren't going to help you, although I do propose in the book some new technology that can be developed, something I'm working on in the background, but I'm in the baby stages of understanding how to put that together, where things like chemotherapy and radiation to me are extremely crude, as using a light form to try to deal with the problem. And that's what, radiation is, a form of light that they're using to put into the body to try to deal with cancer. But it's so destructive because it's such a general form of light and not a specific form that it destroys the healthy cells along with the cancer cells. And you really don't want to do that. You want to be able to deal with the cancer cells if they form, especially if they go into a tumorous form, and get rid of that and save the healthy cells, get the person out of it, and get them going forward with their life.
Juice Guru Radio.
Now, the book mostly focuses on the science of everything, but I wanted to start the book out with focus on the big picture of what I got to see when I died, because that big picture affected the way that I look at the periodic chart of elements in terms of our science. I no longer see it as a chemical chart, but would describe it as a chart of light particles that, when strung together in a lattice, would create consciousness, and that's our bodies and all organic life that is on this particular planet. What we are a part of is something so incredible and so beautiful, and yet very easy to understand, that a child can understand what the big picture is all about.
Juice Guru Radio.
My goal right now is that I want to help Western doctors. I don't want to hate them. I want to help them to see what it is that they missed when I was so sick that they sent me home to die, and to learn the knowledge so they don't send someone else through that course. And there's a lot of that going around right now, because everyone that I talk to, and I've dealt with a lot of people teaching this stuff to, they go into their doctor's office, they get a Chem 24 panel blood test, or whatever, and the doctor comes back and says you're fine. Meanwhile, the person's complaining about chronic fatigue, chronic pain throughout their body, Crohn's disease, brain fog symptoms, eczema on their skin, Candida albicans, all this stuff. And the doctor's scratching their head saying, yeah, but the blood says you're fine. And the problem is the doctor is looking at a very limited vision of what this thing is about. And that's why on the front of my book, it says in the cover, it says it all starts with a change of vision. I want to change the vision of the doctors to show them that they've walled themselves of looking at something and they're failing to go around that wall to see there's a greater picture waiting for them to learn and discover. And that's what scientists like me do.
Juice Guru Radio.
Awesome. And we're going to have that book under the show notes for today. Kevin Montague, thank you so much for just coming by the studio here at Juice Guru Radio and being on the show. And we'd love to have you on down the road. You have so much knowledge, so much to share with us. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me with you.
Kevin Montague right here on Juice Guru Radio. I'm Steve Prussack, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Juice Guru Radio. Find out more about us at juicegururadio.com. Until next time, get your juice on.